Animal Clinic in Clinton now has a new online store for your pet's medicine and supplies. Hi, this is Dr. Sue Sturr inviting you to check out our new online store at covenantanimalclinicil.com or just click on our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Serve Pro of Piatt DeWitt counties for fire and water restoration, reconstruction, and now duct cleaning to keep your air healthy. Find out how they can help you by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
In addition to great radio marketing, the Miller Media Group now offers a full suite of digital marketing solutions. Our affordable programs include custom web design and SEO to help you get found on Google. Seeking more inbound web and store traffic? Our Facebook, YouTube, and geo-targeted marketing programs are all designed to make your cash register ring. To get started, call your Miller Media account manager or go to mmgdigitalnow.com. Miller Media Digital, where digital becomes local.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest in studio this morning, Curt Homann, is the executive director of the DeWitt County Development Council, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Good morning, Curt. How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. Good to see you.
Yeah, good same to you. Did you have a good holiday weekend, by the way?
It was fantastic. Thanksgiving is always been my favorite holiday, and I think it's because of all the wonderful food. No pressure of the Christmas and Christmas presents and all those things. It's just a relaxing day for me, so I certainly enjoyed it.
So what's the favorite thing on your plate you like?
So I will say turkey. Turkey and dressing are my favorites, which this year I didn't get either one of those. So we had
What are you doing?
We had a ham Thanksgiving, which is everyone else's favorite. So
I have seen, and it was just a few years ago, but there was this push, people on social media to do away with the turkey Thanksgiving and go to like a prime rib, a steak dinner, or something like that. Like people are over turkey, it sounds like.
So we have done that years ago.
Oh, really?
In the past, yes. So
yeah.
Done something different. We've done lasagnas, we've done steaks, we've done just to try to mix things up a little bit. And
you guys are some trendsetters over there in the Homann house. How about that? Look at that.
There you go.
Very good. Hey, let's dive into, Curt. As we start the month of December, I guess I didn't really think this was much of a thing. I mean, if you're starting a new business, I'm sure this would come up. But business planning, business owners need to be thinking about the next year, and this is the perfect time of year to do that. Talk about that with us.
Yeah. So very traditionally, it's a perfect time to do that. New calendar just brings a whole lot of newness to the world, I guess, in terms of either a business or even personal lives. Everybody's it seems like everybody's goal on January 1st is to lose weight, and really you look at the business side of things, and it's the exact same thing. I mean, there has to be a plan in place, and here's where we're going to go, and here's how we're going to get there. Now, as opposed to the habit of the goal to lose 40 pounds that most people don't hang on to. The fact is the goal with businesses need to be a little more fine-tuned. Okay. So yeah, we could talk about that. So from everybody can really look at their own ways to do this, but if I can say this, businesses or individuals that don't plan on where they're going don't ever get there. So in many cases, if I sit down with the business, maybe that business is struggling a little bit, I'll say, hey, pull out your last year's business plan. They're like, well, what do you mean? Well, what were you going to do? What were you going to accomplish this year? What were you going to accomplish in 3 years? What were you going to accomplish in 5 years? And then how are you going to get there? So ultimately that's one of the first steps. So as a rule, I think a lot of successful businesses know where they're going to be in the near term, and then have some thoughts on where they're going to be in the long term. But ultimately what, the advice I would give is to sit down and start brainstorming. Okay. And, if the goal, the goal might be, I'm going to increase sales by 15%, or I'm going to increase revenues by 15%, or I need to add an additional piece of equipment this year, or I need to update one or whatever it is. And then you kind of have to work backwards a little bit to figure out how you're going to get there. Okay, so what steps, if I'm going to increase sales by 15% this year, what steps do I have to incur? What steps do I have to do to accomplish that goal? So it really isn't, it's one thing to say, it's a lot like, that weight loss goal. I'm going to lose 40 pounds this year. Well, how am I going to do that? Well, I don't know. I'll have a salad, every once in a while. You have to be a lot more specific and something you can stick to. So
hitting me where it hurts a little bit.
No, me too. myself too. But the business that says, well, I'd really like to increase my sales by 20%, and that has no steps. It just isn't going to magically happen. So is it, how are you going to get there? Is it, I'm going to be open 24 hours a day? Okay, well, can I do that? Does that make financial sense to do that? Maybe not, probably not, in smaller towns, certainly. Am I going to advertise more? Possibly. Am I going to focus on some other marketing efforts? Possibly. Am I going to pick up some new product line? Am I going to, what's it going to take to get there? So if people don't write those things down and at least formulate them for sure, then they tend to forget about what they're doing. So come just like that weight loss goal, sometimes mid-January, end of January, that's a distant memory at that point. So
maybe a dumb question, but does this ever become second nature for an experienced business owner?
I think it does. It should. My guess is it does. I talked to several that do consistent and regular planning. They don't always do it this time of the year. Sometimes it makes sense to do it at other times of the year, and that's fine. This one is a very traditional time, and it was always the time that I did my own personal business planning. And a lot of times for my business, it was a quieter time of the year, so it was a great time to do it. But again, I think it does become second nature. And the other key is to review that plan. So
right.
You can do it for a month. It takes roughly 30 days for something to become a habit. So as you review those things, you have to review it, every month, every quarter, every 6 months, and track progress, see what needs to be adjusted and changed. So yeah, it absolutely does become second nature.
Sure, very good. Well, and in the event, again, Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, our guest in studio today. So for that maybe first-time business owner or the new business owner, they've made it through that first year, which I understand is quite the milestone for a lot of business owners to make it through that first year. And now they're like, okay, I want to see some progress, and I'm ready to make some change or just do something different to grow my business now. Can they get a hold of you to talk through maybe what they'd like to do and where they'd like to go?
Absolutely. Please, reach out, certainly, and call anytime, 935-5271. I'm not always available, but I am available and would love to sit down and talk through things with somebody. And that's the other thing. Sometimes you need to share. You need to share your goals, and that offers accountability. So there's oftentimes I can see just from experience that I can see, hey, try this. Have you thought about this? What if you did this? How about make this connection over here? And sometimes I can bring a lot more to the table than just say, write these things down. It's really the connections and the other experiences that potentially I can share.
Very good. Talk to me a little bit about for a business owner. This kind of has the sounds of like a strategic plan. We hear a lot of like government type of groups do this. But is it good for a business to have a 3-year roadmap, a 5-year roadmap? Or are those like longer outlooks good for a business?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 1 year is generally too short, of a time frame. But ultimately, that's where it all began. So what am I going to do this year to make the changes? Where am I going to end up? Where's it going to have me end up in 3 years? Where's it going to have me end up in 5 years? Keeping in mind that every year that you do that, there's going to be something that changes. So my 5-year plan, my 5-year goal for today, may be adjusted 2 or 3 times along the way. And I haven't, 3 years later, I have a new 5-year goal moving forward 5 years out.
Okay.
So yes, certainly there is, there's certainly a lot of review that will come into play. But I always, I always wrote down on a personal level, I always wrote down wild and crazy things that, that probably I was never going to accomplish, on long-term goals. But I'd like to do this. I'd like to do this. I'd like to do this. And I'd go back and review those as well every year. And sometimes I'd eliminate those. And sometimes I realized, that maybe is a lot more achievable than I thought if I did this, or that.
For instance, getting an MBA?
getting an MBA. Yes. Thank you. So we were talking before coming on air that this is my last week of my last class for my MBA program. And that was a goal from me from when I was 22 years old. I wanted to get my MBA. And I'm significantly older than 22 now. It took a few years. I didn't want to
put you on the spot like that.
No.
So,
but yet, I can say, hey, I did that. I'm very proud of it. And, absolutely, it's always been on my list. Every year it's been on my list. So, this year I'm super excited that will have been accomplished. So.
Well, congratulations to you on that. We'll maybe revisit that here towards the end of the program if we have some time. But I did want to ask, reviewing your plan along the way. Let's say you get to January, or you get to like June, April, May, June, and things are either going better or worse than you thought, and you need to go back and maybe adjust what you had set out to do. Can you do that as a business owner?
I think you need to do that. Things change outside of our control as well. So, a smart business owner needs to be able to make adjustments periodically to their plan. So, maybe one marketing method isn't working. They need to change that up. Maybe maybe a product line is no longer in demand. They need to figure something out. That is, and it could, a lot of our areas service industry. So you can look at a golf course as an example and say, well, our memberships are down. Well, why are they? You have to start asking those important questions. And you mentioned government. Yeah, a strategic plan. Typically, a government will do a strategic plan every 3 to 5 years. It's a lot different from a government perspective, but they do a budget every year. So they have to plan every year, even just with the budget, to say, here's how we're going to spend our money. Here's what we plan to accomplish. And a business is the same way. It's a budget is very much a part of that business plan.
Well, that sounds easier said than done, because sometimes you may not know your revenue from month to month, if that makes sense.
Yes, for sure. I can tell you, one of my best years being self-employed was I had my best year, and then I had my worst year back to back.
Oh, wow.
So, and it was economic issues not related to my business specifically. It was economic issues in the world, the 2007, 2008, mortgage meltdown. But I had about a $240,000 swing in income from one year to the next year. And it's hard to make those adjustments,
right?
But you do it. You don't have a choice. And it wasn't anything that I could control. I couldn't advertise more. I couldn't, nothing was going to generate the revenues that I had the year before, or even close to them.
Right.
So you have to make those adjustments.
Sure.
There's no doubt about it.
Save for a rainy day.
Save for a rainy day, for sure.
Very good. Well, Curt, we've touched on a lot of good things here. Where do folks go to maybe talk with you about what they're doing, or where they hope to go and how to get there?
Yeah, absolutely. Call 935-5271. You can actually text that number as well. Some people like to do that. Follow us on Facebook. I don't always post there, but you can always send me a message through Facebook as well, or just catch me when you see me out and about. I'd be glad to talk to anybody, for sure.
Sounds good. Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, my guest in studio today. More to come with Curt on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
CEO Paul Skowron here from Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. We're proud to be the title sponsor of WHOW and WEZC's Sounds of the Season, non-stop Christmas music, December 24th and 25th for the 10th consecutive year. Tune your radio from noon Christmas Eve through midnight on Christmas Day as many of our staff wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Netflix buffering, YouTube spinning, devices not connecting, Zoom calls dropping. Ugh, it's frustrating when you struggle to stay connected. You shouldn't have to worry about your internet in Clinton. It should just work. Well, let's end your frustration. Get internet at the speed of light from Connexus. With incredible residential speeds up to 5 gig, Connexus offers reliable, unlimited internet in Clinton at unbeatable prices with no contracts and no installation fees. Fall in love with your internet again with Connexus. Visit conxus.com. Fiber not available everywhere. Terms and conditions apply. In addition to great radio marketing, the Miller Media Group now offers a full suite of digital marketing solutions. Our affordable programs include custom web design and SEO to help you get found on Google. Seeking more inbound web and store traffic? Our Facebook, YouTube, and geo-targeted marketing programs are all designed to make your cash register ring. To get started, call your Miller Media account manager or go to mmgdigitalnow.com. Miller Media Digital, where digital becomes local.
Liberty Village of Clinton's Memory Lane provides fitness for the mind. Hi, I'm Jill Rieger, Director of Marketing. Our memory care program focuses on an individual's strengths for personalized care. Click on our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
SIU Family Medicine wants the best health for you and your family. Be a champion. Protect your loved ones. The SIU Center for Family Medicine of Lincoln is accepting new patients. Click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com to schedule your appointment.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest in studio today, Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, in studio with us here for today. And Curt, let's talk a little bit about a new website for DCDC, looking to revamp and re-energize the website. What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the original website is the original website. It's been there a long time. And while it does get a few basic updates over the years, we're going to have a brand new look on that. Won't be live until probably about mid-January, but I can tell you it looks, from what I've seen so far, it looks good. We're going to have a bigger highlight, a bigger focus on our board members for sure. Mm-hmm. They put a lot of work into DCDC, and we really want everyone to know who they are and the work they do. Okay. But from a programs perspective, we want to be able to offer more demographics for the county, more marketability of the county from our website, so businesses from anywhere can look online and see what DeWitt County has to offer. Okay. Of course, we're going to highlight our programs and services. Our revolving loan fund, our grant program, the one-on-one work that I do, mm-hmm. Some of our success stories for DeWitt County as well, mm-hmm. and just give it a fresh new look. That needs to be done periodically, mm-hmm.
Anyway, and it's been a while anyways.
We've avoided the cost and expense of doing that, but we realize it's going to be money well spent to get that done.
How'd you do that, if you don't mind me asking?
How did we do it in terms? Actually,
avoiding the cost and the high cost.
Well, we have one of our board members has designed websites, so we put our trust and faith in her hands, and mm-hmm. and there are some costs associated with it, but it's not an extreme cost, and it really does look good so far.
Nice, nice, yeah. Awesome. Looking forward to that. In terms of just putting more information out there, I feel like that's better marketability in terms of someone that wants information about DeWitt County. Maybe they don't have to sift through all the government information in terms of like the county's website or the city's website. They can just go to a central location, and DCDC maybe has it all right there.
Correct. And then, obviously we can't put everything on that site, but, we'll have contact information and we can get almost everything. Mm-hmm. It may take a little time to get there. It may take a few phone calls to get there, but we will have a great starting point with our website, we feel.
Sure. So looking forward to that. When do you hope to see that go live?
Yeah, mid-January is the target date. Mm-hmm. So, could be a couple weeks before, a couple weeks later.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Very
For
good.
sure.
So, yeah, that'll be. How long have you been working on that? Or I'm sure you've recognized that need for a while.
You know, it's something we've actually talked about for the last couple of years, and earlier this year. It is late last year. Earlier this year, we made the commitment to move forward with that. So
yeah, nice, awesome. Anything else on that we didn't touch on?
I don't think so. Give everyone a good excuse to check out our website now and check out our website in the future.
No question.
So.
Well, Curt, let's wrap it up. We did mention there in that first segment, you are achieving your MBA this week, final week of classes for you.
Yay!
So what's that mean for you?
That's a great question. So really, I don't. You don't get a piece of paper in the mail or at graduation, and all of a sudden you have this incredible knowledge. Knowledge is a learning process. Mm-hmm. I feel like I could have taught some of the classes that I took, and others I feel like I really got a lot of useful information out of. Mm-hmm. But all of that being said, the information I was reminded of, the information I learned, has been useful to my role. That I'm in, certainly, and it's been very useful to help me interact with other businesses as well. So there's a lot of business studies that we do, and we dissect businesses, and we try to make those businesses better, find out what they're doing wrong, and that's what the real world and my real job is all about. So, is there anything you learned in that process that you feel is going to help you with where you're at in life? In life in general. Professionally, yeah. I would, certainly there is. I mean, there's, I can tell you in working with some businesses, there was specific information that I could pick up from class and say, hey, let's look at this. Let's look at this. Sometimes it was around, new marketing techniques. Sometimes it was, a financial statement looking at, hey, here's a red flag. Mm-hmm. And so I've seen locally some business situations say, hey, here's a red flag where you're not spending as much money as you should be spending, or you're spending too much money in this particular area, or here's an additional way to look at these things. So,
Gotcha.
For sure.
Very good, Curt. Well, about 30 seconds. Anything going on within DCDC worth wrapping up with this morning?
We're just, I will say I'm excited for the year, for 2024. I think it was a great year. Maybe next month we can talk about some of the highlights and where our 2025 is going to go.
That's my plan.
But I definitely look forward to, another great year for DCDC in DeWitt County, and I'm glad I can be a part of it, and our government partners, we truly appreciate their walk with us along the way, for sure.
And the website for DCDC is
DCDC-Illinois.net.
Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, our guest in studio. Network news on the way.
With SRN News,